ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Adesa, a virtual topic, leveraging the online space, how enterprises can maximize COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Bennet Otoo. I'm the PR and Communications Manager at Jumia Ghana. Um, I must confess, it's been amazing working or partnering with Innovare because these guys do like really amazing work when it comes to consulting, transfer services, etc. Just to give a brief background about Innovare. Innovare is a management consultancy company established to assist businesses innovate through technology adoption and IT optimization. So basically, what they do is they help businesses create the best business opportunities, improve delivery, and also facilitate information sharing and knowledge creation. So basically, that's Innovare in a nutshell. They have a couple of events throughout the year. If not for COVID-19, I'm pretty sure we would have had the social media conference, which was really informative throughout last year. I learned quite a lot from it as well. And I'm sure many of you who have been following the Innovare story have benefited from this. But today, let's focus on the objective of the day. Um, Briefly, before I delve into how enterprises can maximize their potential through e-commerce, I briefly want to talk about what e-commerce is. And I've seen a couple of e-commerce experts join this particular discussion today, and I'm pleased and I'm honored to to have all of you on board. I'm sure when the questioning starts, would have a lot of insightful questions that will bring about more meaningful conversations for myself and from these industry gurus. But just to remind you that whilst I'm presenting or whilst I'm talking, if you have any questions or if you have a suggestion or if you have any input or feedback, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and then I'll answer it when I'm done with um, my presentation. So quickly, e-commerce basically is commerce online, electronic commerce. So any business that is done online can be termed e-commerce. So today, if you ask, okay, so what are some of the e-commerce companies that we have in the world? We can talk about Amazon, we can talk about eBay, we can talk about Jumia, we can talk about so many other platforms. And these days, people are limiting e-commerce basically to just shopping, buying and selling online. Now, that's one thing I want to state from the very onset, that e-commerce these days has gone beyond just the traditional buying and selling online. Now, it has several facets that we can talk about. We can talk about digital payments, which is directly linked with e-commerce. So when you're buying items online, you need to pay for them online, and that's where digital payments come in. Digital payments can come in any form. It can be mobile money that we are all used to in Ghana. It can be credit cards. It can be bitcoins and all of that. That's is part of that the whole e-commerce story. So if I want to start discussing, I think that let's basically start with what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. I'm trying to share my screen. 1 second. So, second, what I mean. So, if we're talking about the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce, um, we can we can basically look. I, does anybody see my screen yet? Okay, please wave. Give me a wave if you see my screen. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. All right. So we're looking at the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. As I mentioned earlier on, e-commerce is basically doing business online. So shopping online, doing digital payments, anything that you do online, buying and selling online. And there are several stakeholders when it comes to e-commerce. There's the business side of it, there's the seller side of it, there's the customer side of it, who's buying from the seller. There's the e-commerce partner, for instance, the Jumia's, the Amazon part of it as well. So many e-commerce platforms run several modules. So there can be the module where you allow vendors, individual vendors, to list on your platform and sell. There can be the module where you as a company sell these items yourself online. But any which way, there's always stakeholders involved. And for e-commerce companies, the main stakeholder, the main beneficiary in all of this should be the customer. But today we are trying to look at what is the net for enterprises. So if you are an enterprise or a business that's already doing business traditionally offline, because of the impact of COVID-19, because of social distancing rules, because of protocols, because of lock, how can we do business differently? How can we leverage on online platforms or e-commerce to maximize our potential to grow our businesses? Now, quickly, let's look at some advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. Um, so, first up, e-commerce, as I said, is electronic commerce, buying, selling goods over the internet. Now, e-commerce is similar to offline business with the difference that buyers do not actually meet the sellers physically. So the main distinction between e-commerce and traditional buying and selling is that in traditional buying and selling, like you are walking up to a shop to buy, you meet the person you are buying from. So there's that physical interactions. But with e-commerce, you don't necessarily have to meet the person physically. You can meet online. That's why usually when we send emails, we say nice to meet you. Yeah, you're meeting electronically online, but you don't get to meet that person. That's the basic difference. Now, the advantages of e-commerce are a lot, but let me just touch on a few. There are no geographic limitations whatsoever when you are dealing with e-commerce. So there's no limitation of distance. E-commerce has converted the world into a global village. Now buyers and sellers meet via the internet. So, I mean, you can't say that the shop is in Takrady and you're in Accra, so you cannot get it. With e-commerce, you just go online with a few clicks, you're buying your item, no matter where the person is. That's why we can sit in Ghana and order items from China, from the US, from the UK, and get them to our doorsteps. I mean, in the past, this was really difficult. We would have to rely on our friends and family who are coming. You have to send them so many different pictures and try to describe what you actually want for them to buy it and bring it. But because of e-commerce, now no geographic limitation whatsoever. Somebody can be like a million miles away with a shop a million miles away, and the transaction or the business can still go on. Now, another advantage of e-commerce is savings. Sellers need not go to the store physically, hence it saves both time and money. This is like common practice. If I live in Dantuman and I need to go and get an item from, let's say, the Accra Mall or Kuala, I need to either drive or pick bus, public transport, which is money. I need to also go like spend like an hour or two on the road just to go to the shop. And when I get to the shop as well, I would also have to go from shelf to shelf. Like I mean, go to different, walk to different compartments, store categories to be able to go through all the dozens of items before I select which one I actually want. So e-commerce saves time and it saves money as well. And it's a 24/7 business. E-commerce is the only shop that doesn't close. When you're buying online, the shops never ever close. If you go on a website and you want to buy an item, the items are listed there at any time of the day. You can click on the item, read through the specifications, pay for it, and it gets delivered to you at the specified time. So e-commerce is a 24/7 business. There's no opening and closing time for the stores. If you put this side by side with physical stores, I mean, you go to a store and you see that logo or the sign there that says closed. So the shop is closed and you cannot do anything about it till maybe the next day. Another advantage about e-commerce is that it gives you huge variety. Customers can easily select products from different providers without moving around physically. So as I mentioned earlier, if you walk into a physical shop, you would have to go through the various sections, browse through different brands before you're able to select what you want. With e-commerce, all you need to do is to type in a search box. Maybe you are buying mackerel, you just type in a search box and it lists all the various types of mackerel like in one go, in one view, and then you can select what you want and buy it. Also, for businesses, if you're thinking about starting like a business in e-commerce, it provides an avenue for you to spend very little. It requires the least capital to start an e-commerce platform. I mean, high initial costs is not required. Business can be started with the least amount of capital. So maybe like you have like 2 shirts that you want to sell, you can start an e-commerce business. You can start online. If you have 10 boxes of water that you need to sell, you can start and sell online. You don't need really to look for a physical space. You don't really need to um, look for a lot of employees to come together in one office to pay office rent, to pay a lot of employees. I mean, in your own small home, once you have internet, good internet, you can start an e-commerce platform. And these days, a lot of businesses are actually leveraging on social media, which is an aspect of e-commerce that I'm going to talk about in my next few slides. Now, everything has its own advantages and disadvantages, and in order to appreciate the level of benefits that e-commerce actually brings, you have to look at the disadvantages so that you know how you are going to leverage on the benefits in order to maximize these opportunities that e-commerce presents in growing your business. So if you don't know what the disadvantages are and you just jump into leveraging on the opportunities or the benefits, then when you are faced with one of the disadvantages, you would really struggle to cope with it. So it's good to actually have a look at the disadvantages of e-commerce as well. Now, one big disadvantage about e-commerce is the fact that customers habituate. They are used to a certain kind of lifestyle. Customers are used to walking to physical shops to buy their items. I mean, e-commerce is getting popular every day by day, but still there are people who prefer to go to the store. They want to hold the item, they want to see it, they want to feel it. You understand? So these are their drawbacks, their setbacks for e-commerce. People still believe that they have to go to the store to buy the item. They believe it more when they see it. I mean, yeah, the old adage goes, seeing is believing, but e-commerce has come to not to replace but to complement physical stores that we have. Now, security is another big issue when it comes to e-commerce. A lot of people have the question, and I'm sure when the floor is open for us to ask questions, a lot of people will be asking about security. Now, most e-commerce sites and payment gateways are prone to attack from hackers, and that's customers' identity that is a threat. I mean, so we had issues about people's websites being hacked, people's accounts being hacked because they tried to pay for an item online and all of that. There are shops and there are businesses that really have dedicated or invested a lot in cybersecurity. So most of these big companies, Jumia, Amazon, and a couple of other big brands have really invested in where there are softwares and there are companies that have been paid to provide extra security on platforms where people cannot fish for cards or your numbers or your pins to be able to use it to shop. So the issue about being afraid to shop online doesn't come in here. Now, another disadvantage about e-commerce has to do with quality. Now, the quality of products is really you cannot be sure about the quality because you've not seen the item. You understand? You've not seen. You ordered for the item, it gets to you, and then it's not what you ordered for, right? Especially when it comes to fashion items, perfumes, industrial machines, equipment, kitchen appliances, and all of that. Yes, you ordered for a Samsung, but the Samsung that came to you wasn't the Samsung you asked for. You ordered for a shirt. You said you wanted a size XL, but the size that came to you wasn't the type of XL you wanted because it didn't fit. So some of these things are the disadvantages about e-commerce. Now, the good news here is that with all these disadvantages, technology and time has made it possible for us to find solutions to all of these problems. So yes, these disadvantages are there, but they have been mitigated by new innovations and technologies that we have. Now, let me quickly talk about how can enterprises or individuals, or how can we all leverage on e-commerce in this growing age of COVID-19. Now, I'm not sure there's anybody in our world right now who doesn't know um, what COVID-19 is. I would be very sad to hear that there's somebody in our world today who doesn't know what COVID-19 is. But I mean, COVID-19 is a global pandemic that has halted lives, it has broken jobs, it has changed everybody's way of seeing things. Um, why the need to utilize e-commerce? Why do we need to utilize e-commerce amidst this COVID-19 pandemic? Now, it's simple. We need to look at what has COVID-19 done to our businesses. Let me not even use e-commerce businesses as an example. E-commerce is supposed to be the solution to a solution to this problem. But let's take a step back. 8 9 months ago, before COVID-19 became too big in Africa and Ghana, we were going about our normal businesses, we were doing our physical marketing, we were going for meetings physically, we were doing everything physically because over here in Africa, physical contact is big for us. I mean, we are warm people, so we love to have the physical contact with everybody around us. Now, when COVID-19 came about, it restricted movement. So because there was lockdown, you cannot go anywhere. You cannot even walk into your favorite restaurants to eat. You cannot even walk to the grocery shop to buy stuff to come and cook. You cannot walk into like a physical shop to buy provisions or buy clothes or buy anything that you want. Now, businesses suffered because the customers couldn't come to them to buy. So, for instance, if you're an insurance company, your team of sales reps usually go out and talk to people and try to convince people to sign up to your policies and to sign up to you. If you are a food store or if you are a restaurant, customers would walk into your restaurant and then sit down and enjoy a good meal and then go. If you are a boutique or a fashion shop or related to providing such services, you find out that customers used to come to you, try to fit the out like all the clothes, and then once they are convinced and they are comfortable with it, they come for it and then they buy. But because of COVID-19 and because of lockdown restrictions, these customers are not able, they are no more able to come to us. Now, as a business, what do you do in these times in order to still stay in business? Now, the overall solution is e-commerce, but one may ask, how does e-commerce come in here? What role does e-commerce play in providing support for businesses? Now, first of all, e-commerce gives you a platform where you can engage with your customer still. Now, your customer necessarily doesn't have to walk into your shop, but virtually your customer is walking into your shop online. Now, you have a platform where you display all the goods, all the services, and your system is very simplified where customers can just go online, browse for their items, and place the order. Now, the good part is this: they don't need to walk up to you to pick up the item. E-commerce makes it possible to eliminate that physical contact. So yes, lockdown, people were home, everybody was home, but staying safe and staying home didn't mean that they couldn't get the items that they wanted. So e-commerce made a way for these businesses to still operate where you can list your items online You can share this with your customers via social media, via so many platforms, and then they can shop online or purchase whatever policy or service that you're rendering online. And then the communication can go on to the point where the customer pays for the item, and even the payment these days is cashless. Now there are cashless systems everywhere. There's mobile money, there's bank transfer, and so many other cashless systems. So that physical contact is no more there. You can still stay safe, you can stay at home and get your item delivered to your doorstep. Now, based on certain protocols, most almost all e-commerce platforms have educated and trained their staff or their delivery agents such that they sanitize, they wear their mask, they wear their gloves, they keep their distance when they bring the item to you, they drop it in front of your gates, they go back, you come and pick it up. So all of these things make us safe during this COVID-19 period, but still gets the best items at the best quality prices. Now, what then does e-commerce do for us? E-commerce gives us a platform to automate our prices. Let me give an example. For instance, you're a clothing brand and you sell clothes and you're selling a shirt for maybe 50 Ghana cedis. During COVID-19, you want to reduce it. The customer cannot necessarily walk into your shop and see that you've reduced it. How then do you inform that customer that you've reduced it? And even when you inform that customer, how does the customer come into your shop to buy? That's e-commerce. So e-commerce gives you an opportunity to automate your sales. So online, when you have a platform or you've partnered with an e-commerce platform like Amazon or Jumia, where you can list your items, you can regularly by yourself change the prices of these items. So you decide that, oh, COVID has hit everybody, and then the item that you are selling for 50 cedis can now go for 40 cedis. It's easy for you through e-commerce to go on your back end or to go on the portal or to contact that service provider and say, oh, I want to run a promo. I want to change my price from 50 to 40 cedis. And that will help to bring a bit more customers because there's going to be referral. Somebody will say, oh, shop A is running a promo and they reduce their goods from 50 to 40 cedis. The referral keeps going, and based on the same e-commerce pipeline, a lot of people hear it and then they come to patronize. So aside the fact that e-commerce makes it safe for you to run a business, for your customers to trust that they are safe by staying home, which helps you to grow your business because you are still going to be in business. It doesn't mean that because COVID is here, business has stopped. So your customers begin to trust your brand and know that you have an online presence. Now it gives you the opportunity to automate your prices and your sales. Now a third thing is this: it gives you an opportunity to engage your customers regularly. Now this is a very key driver in maintaining a good business and in growing your business. If you have an offline shop, if you have an offline business, how do you engage your customers regularly? Because mind you, these customers will come in only when they need an item, only when they need to purchase an item, or they're about to do window shopping, or they need a policy, or they need to purchase an item from your shop or your company. That's when they come to you. But in order to engage these customers regularly, you have to employ e-commerce in it. You have to employ the services of social media and online portals and online platforms. Now, how do you do this? There are several social media platforms that we all know. Most of us use these platforms for fun and for pleasure and for life, basically. But did you also know that you can use or leverage social media to engage your customers on the regular? Now, let me give you an example. Now, during lockdown, customers were worried. Where do I get groceries to buy? Where do I get home essentials like soap, like detergents, like sanitizers to buy? They couldn't go out of their homes. Now, how do these items get to them? How do they know the prices of these items? Then there's an answer of e-commerce. There's an answer of social media. So um, offline companies could now leverage social media to say that, okay, let me reach a wide audience of, let's say, 50,000 people at a time by posting on my Instagram page that, hey, you can shop for your soap, your shower gel, your sponge, your sanitizer, your napkin, your ABCD items at this particular price. And some of them were even bundled that you can get all of these products for 50 Ghana cedis. And it's easier for these customers to be engaged through these platforms because during lockdown, everybody was on the internet, everybody was on Facebook, on Instagram, trying to get news and all of that. E-commerce gives you the platform to be able to offer even pop-ups on various websites. So you might be reading news on one of these blogs or one of these online portals, and then it pops up, a banner pops up and say, get home essentials at 50 CDs from so and so company. Then the customer clicks on it and goes there. When the customer gets there, there's that interaction, there's that experience that you have with the customer. You get to take the customer's details, which means that you get to send the customer newsletters, you get to send the customer text messages, you get to send the customer inboxes, emails, to remind them of promos every time you have them, to remind them of reductions every time you have them, and to remind them of new products that you have, and the fact that you are still in business, which is paramount, which is very important, because during lockdown there were assumptions that most companies weren't working, whereas in actual fact most of these offline companies were working, only that they were working remotely from home. Shops were not open, but businesses were ongoing. So it's a good platform to remind customers that these um, shops are still operational, business is still ongoing, and they can still get their favorite items from you. Now, engagement also can come in the form of so many things: running quizzes, running trivias, get customers to answer questions about your brand. I mean, you get to increase brand awareness by letting your customers know more about you through games and interactions like funny tweets, fun facts, and all of that. E-commerce gives you an opportunity to reach these customers and to make them feel a part of you, so they keep coming back over and over and over again. Now, let me talk about what you need for e-commerce success. Um, you need accurate and up-to-date product information. When I say accurate and up-to-date product information, you wouldn't want to be putting stuff on your website or on your platform that aren't true, or you wouldn't want to be putting products that you don't have. For instance, I know a couple of companies that small, medium scale companies, anyways, that are running on Instagram. They do not necessarily have the products, but they'll go on another person's page and screenshot that person's product and still advertise on their platform. I mean, for a small startup company, it might work for you, but then as time goes on, you need to build yourself as a brand. So you cannot be screenshotting people's businesses. You need to put accurate and up-to-date information. Up-to-date meaning that if the item gets sold out, make sure that you are taking it off, so that a customer doesn't come to your website and think, or come to your page and think that you have this product available, whereas in actual fact you don't have it. That ruins your relationship with the business. So up-to-date information, product information comes to fore when you are talking about inventory, as I just mentioned, availability. No one wants to order a product and then to be told it's out of stock. That is really annoying, and I know most of you can resonate with this. Now, expected delivery dates. So just like what I just mentioned, the inventory availability, this is an important way to keep your customers informed and can help them plan their orders based on when they need these products, right? So for instance, you place an item for a microwave and you know that you need a microwave by Friday. Now, the e-commerce company or the offline company that sells microwaves has listed online, you need to that you can get your item between 3 to 5 working days, and let it be explicit enough. Not that a customer orders for an item, the item, it says same day delivery. 1 week on, the customer hasn't still received the item. There's no communication, there's no engagement between you, excuse me, and the customer. These things have an adverse effect on your business if you want to do business online. Now, if you want to leverage e-commerce opportunities, these are some of the things that you should be mindful of: accurate and up-to-date product information, expected delivery dates, and the next one is helping the customer to enjoy the platform that you're using. So, helpful shopping features. What features do you have on your platform? Related product search and suggestions. I'm sure most of you who have been to other e-commerce platforms will see that um, along the line they'll tell you customers that maybe you are searching for an iron, then they'll tell you that customers that search for an iron also searched for this. Yes, these are helpful shopping features. It helps them to decide, because believe you me, 90% of customers do not know what they want. They do not necessarily know what they want. So they know they want an iron, but they are not too sure whether to buy a Bennet Otoo, whether to buy a Samsung, whether to buy this, they want to buy a TV. They don't know whether to buy a Sony, whether to buy an LG. They just know they want a TV. So when they come on an e-commerce platform and you are a TV salesperson and you sell online, it gives you the opportunity, one, to open up and say, I have all of these, but two, to help the customer choose. Because when you leave them spot for choice, they might end up going and not buying anything from your platform. So helpful shopping features, products and suggestions, frequently purchased items, clear sales and promotion information. Let your promo be very clear. If it's 40 Ghana cedis off, let it state 40 Ghana cedis off. If it's 40% off, let it be 40% off. Some businesses who want to leverage e-commerce opportunities are not explicit enough. They are not clear enough. So you find them communicating that 40% off, whilst in actual fact, they want to take 100 Ghana cedis off. The calculation has been totally wrong. Now you misinform the customer who might come to your website thinking that, wow, this is a good deal, let me buy. The customer tries to buy the item, and then at checkout, they realize that the amount they expected to pay is more than, or sometimes they even go ahead to order for the item only to be contacted and told that the amount you paid is not sufficient and you need to pay some more. These things ruin your relationship with the customer. So be very clear. If it's a promo you're running and it's 40%, state clearly that it's 40% and make sure that you're offering 40%. Use user-friendly shopping carts. Some websites or some platforms are too complicated. Somebody wants to order for an item and the person needs to fill like a 15-page questionnaire or info section before they can place an item. Maybe I just want to buy a wristwatch. Why do I have to put in my next of kin and all of this information? Please, you are not a bank. You're not giving out a loan. The customer is coming to buy from you. So make it very simple for the person. Basic information that you need: the person's full name, the person's address that you want the thing dropped at or delivered to, the person's contact information. Basically, that's it. That's all you need. I mean, some people are contacted on Instagram that I want to buy like a pair of shoes, and they're asking me, okay, please let me know your date of birth. What, you don't need that person's date of birth. So make your platform or your service simplified, user friendly, so people can easily resonate with it. Now, another thing is rapid fulfillment. Today's consumers are used to platforms like big platforms like Amazon, like Walmart, offering like free 2-day or even the same day delivery. It's easy, it's fast. So make sure that once you have the item, because it's your own platform, it's your own business, you are using e-commerce only to reach more people and to make sure people are safe during this COVID-19 period. Make sure that if the item is supposed to be delivered today, deliver it, because during these COVID-19 times, people need stuff. They don't need it in the sense that, oh, I need to use it 5 days time or 10 days time. People need things now. So make sure if you have it and you can deliver it rapidly. Let it go now. Now, another question that a lot of people ask is, how do I choose the right e-commerce platform? Because these days there are dozens of platforms available online, right? So it's important to do your research and then find the right solution for your business. So for instance, if you sell insurance policies, you might not necessarily today be able to do business or to advertise your policies on a platform like Jumia, right? Because Jumia doesn't offer these services at the moment. If you sell shoes, then you can use Jumia, you can use Amazon, you can use it. So there are several platforms. So there are platforms that make use of medical e-commerce. So you can buy pharmaceutical products online. You can book a doctor online. If you are in such a business, then you should know which platform, the right platform to go to. You don't necessarily, because you want to reach a lot of people, you're on so many platforms. I know a lot of vendors that is on eBay, Amazon, here, there. When you do that, yes, you are reaching a whole lot of people. But then when these customers come back to you and are ordering stuff from you, then it becomes scattered. How do you even manage 5-6 platforms at a go? So know the right solution for your business. What industry are you in? Is there an e-commerce platform that that I can use in the same regard for my customers to come to. So, for instance, if you need um, medical stuff, equipment, or you need to buy medicine, there's an app or there's a platform that you can buy medicine on, an e-commerce platform that you can advertise on if you are such a vendor. If you sell appliances or you sell clothes, there's Jumia, there's Zuba Shop, there's Amazon, there are all those companies that you can leverage on. If you want to advertise your cars, if you sell cars and you want to advertise, there's Tonaton and the like that you can. So you have to do your research as a business, as an enterprise. And some big companies make that mistake. Yes, I'm a big company already, so these companies would want to do business with you. Yes, they want to do business with you, but do you need to do business with them? How much are you going to get from doing business with them? Are your customers easily going to find you? Because it's easy to get missing in a big e-commerce platform. So the categories are many, and the company might be renowned for shopping. So let me use Jumia as an example because I come from Jumia. So Jumia is renowned for shopping and logistics and food delivery, right? So if you're a restaurant, yes, you can list your restaurant on Jumia. It works, it helps. If you sell shoes and clothing and electronics, yes, you can do that. But if you do any other thing apart from the solutions that Jumia provides, why would you want to go in that direction? So choosing the right platform. How do you choose the right platform? Choose a platform that offers customization and flexibility. Is very important. Some e-commerce stores are easy and fast to set up, but have limited features and may not meet your unique business needs. So some of them say, oh, just a few clicks, you can set up your shop and you can sell. Yes, it's easy and it's fast, but their features are limited. You understand? And then on the other hand as well, the super customized options are sometimes hindered by long lead times and complications. So you find out that another e-commerce company has super customized, and you can do this here, you can do that, you can do that. So it takes a longer time for one to go through the entire chain, which might affect your business as well. So to avoid these complications, you need to sit down and do your proper homework. Go for companies that offer customization to meet your specific needs and also are flexible so they can change things, they can update the features at any time. Now, go for e-commerce platforms or build an e-commerce platform if you are big and you need to build your own platform. Build a platform that offers customers different options. So if you sell to both, like if you do both B2B, business to business, or you do B2C, it's important to find a platform or to build a platform that can support both from the same storefront. Now, so that you don't need to spend extra money, extra manpower, or extra resources in building two platforms, because your store is one, your platform is one, the e-commerce platform you are trying to leverage on is just one. So you don't need to spend extra time, money, and labor in building two platforms. So go from the same storefront. Look for a platform or build a platform that can support both B2B and B2C. So if you are selling in bulk to other businesses, the platform should be able to do it. If you are doing business and you are selling to individual customers, the same platform should be able to handle both. Now, volume-based pricing, that's another issue. Volume-based pricing and customer type pricing. For instance, every 100 items go for this amount, and if you're buying only 10, you don't get that amount. All these things are things that you should look out for in your e-commerce platform. Are these options available? Are they segmented enough? Can the customers really identify what they want on these platforms? Take all of these into consideration. It makes it easy to sell to a variety of retailers, manufacturers, and even individual customers when you have a platform that can accommodate all of these things. The next, you should also look at security and product compliance. Now, security, as I mentioned in my previous slides, is a big disadvantage or a drawback for e-commerce. So if your customers or other businesses that you work with cannot trust your brand as a brand that will has a firewall, like, or has a blockage to scammers, to hackers, and all of that, then you have a big issue. So you need to go for or build an e-commerce platform PCI compliant that has like a very rigid and solid security background so that scammers or phishers or hackers cannot easily penetrate. Because the moment 1, 2, 3 people try to make their purchase on your platform and then they are hacked or their monies are taken away, it brings you a bad name and then it defeats the purpose of even coming online. So security is really a big deal that you should look at. Now, in summary, what are we talking about? We are saying that e-commerce is important because customers cannot necessarily go out a lot these days. They cannot walk into physical shops. There's the fear of contracting the disease. Businesses are down. A lot of people are working from home. People cannot meet their customers face to face. People cannot get that customer interaction, that feel of having to sit at your favorite restaurants to eat, or having to walk into the shop to try out an outfit before you buy, or test an appliance before you buy. Now, as a business, how do you leverage on the fact that there's a platform or there's an avenue called e-commerce to build your brand or to develop or to maximize your potential or to grow into a business? So I spoke about the fact that you can build either an or you venture into the business of dealing or partnering with an already existing brand like um, Jumia, like Amazon, and the like. And then I spoke about what you need for e-commerce success, that you need to have accurate and up-to-date product information, that you need to have like expected delivery dates, deliver when you say you would. You need to have helpful shopping features. Your website, the platform, or your social media platform need to be very simple and easy to use. Your checkout should be very user friendly. You should deliver when you say you will deliver. Your content should be very engaging to your customer. You should be truthful as a brand. You should have like integrity should be one of your paramount um, um, milestones. Your vision or your mission should always have integrity in there to your customers. I also spoke about engaging your customers to be able to make sure that they are seeing what you are offering on the regular, so that they know that you are still in business and that you are still doing business. And finally, before I start to look at some of the questions that are already popping up, I entreat everybody to take advantage of this growing marketplace, because in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, with the uncertainty about coronavirus and when it's going to end and when we are going to get a vaccine, businesses still need to thrive. We need to thrive. We need to sustain the business. We need to grow from stage 1 to stage 2. We need to become big. How do we do that? Even before the COVID-19 outbreak, e-commerce was a rapidly evolving market space. It was there. Now, in fact, online sales have been outpacing retail growth like for the past few years. Um, Physical stores, people go physical stores reduced. People doing one-on-one interaction reduced. So, I mean, even as far back as if my mind serves me right, my memory serves me right, 2017, um, e-commerce had risen to about 132% in Africa. Like from zero to up there. So many e-commerce platforms, social media platforms, companies that didn't have websites now had websites and all of that. So e-commerce is big, and it is going to have an exponential growth. And the biggest advantage for e-commerce platforms or of doing business online is the numbers. That how many people get to see your shop or walk into your shop in a day. Compare that with how many people can see your website or your Instagram page or your profile or your shop on another e-commerce platform in a day. Now, companies like Amazon have millions and millions of customers. Jumia, millions of customers. So if you place your item on Jumia, the likelihood of someone seeing that item as compared to having your own shop, you can tell the difference. Now, I always tell people that e-commerce is not here to replace traditional shops. No, it's a complement. It gives you more. You already have your customers who walk into your shop. But what about the millions of customers out there on the internet? What about the millions of customers that are always on Facebook, always on Instagram, always on Twitter? How do you get them? And I believe I've shared a few insights about it. Now let me leave with this. Let me end by saying this. It's if you're an industry or you are an enterprise and you are not utilizing e-commerce, you are not online yet, you don't have an active website, you don't have strong enough social media presence. Now, this is what I'll tell you. Think about it this way: having a shop, right? Imagine having two shops. One is in the middle of nowhere. It's full of, like, you've constructed a shop, it's in the middle of nowhere where a car passes every 2 hours. And another one is in the middle of somewhere where, let's say, central business district of Accra, where there are a lot of people there. Now, which of the shops do you really think will sell? Although in Accra there are several shops selling the same thing, the likelihood of many customers going to Accra to buy is bigger than the customers moving all the way to your shop, which is like a million miles away, isolated somewhere. How do they even see it? So it's better to do business online, where all the action is at the moment, where everybody is, because today everybody is online. It's better to do business online. It's better to leverage on the opportunities that are there online and to grow your businesses. Thank you very much. I don't know if there are some questions. Okay, let me go in the chats. Okay. Okay, I see a couple of messages. Okay. Are there any questions? If you have a question, you can raise your hand, and then we will give you the opportunity to ask your question, and then we can proceed. Any questions? Okay,
Hello.
Hayford. Yeah, Hayford.
Hi, Bennett.
Hi.
All right, so thanks very much for that enlightening presentation. I just want to ask, you are saying that the e-platform should be seen as a complement to traditional sales and marketing. But don't we, it's not possible that in the near future, one can decide to go entirely online and make far much more than you would make if you had attempted to still keep a shop where you are paying so much for electricity and rent and all of that. I just want your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Okay, nice one. Thank you very much, Hayford. Okay, so let me put it this way. I said it's a compliment because you can never do away with brick and mortar stores. That is a given. Now, e-commerce offers you the opportunity to save on paying rent, on paying a lot of stuff to do the job and all of that. But you cannot do away with it, because no matter what we do, there are still people who would want to buy online but would still want to come into the shop to feel it, or come and pick it up from the store. So what is going to happen, what we project happening, is that there will be a reduction in the number of brick and mortar stores, but it's not going to be completely wiped out, because it's just like you have a business that is fetching you 2 Ghana cedis, and I introduce you to a business that is going to fetch you 5 Ghana cedi more, right? So if you add your 2 Ghana cedi to the 5 Ghana cedi, you make 7 Ghana cedis. But if you leave that 2 Ghana cedi and come online, it's possible that you might make 10 Ghana cedi there, but it's not a given. The given here is that you are going to make more by adding e-commerce to your already existing brick and mortar. I don't know if you get me, but do not in any day consider leaving your brick and mortar. Maybe you can reduce the costs. Maybe if you have like 10 branches, like for instance, banks and financial, maybe you have like branches all over the country, you might consider cutting down on those branches, some of those branches. You might consider getting your employees, some of them, to work from home and all of that, just to cut down overhead costs and all of that. That is good. But to completely say that you are shutting down, imagine one of the big banks, Ecobank, says that, okay, because we are now doing online payments and everything, like our transactions are online, we are shutting down all our branches nationwide. It's going to have a big impact on their business. So if you've even realized, most of these banks now have digital platforms, but they still utilize the banking halls. Only that it has been reduced. Now the number of people that enter a banking hall are not as many as before, because there's the opportunity to do business online. So for businesses, the plan is not necessarily to shut down completely your brick and mortar or physical store to go online. The plan is to leverage the opportunities that are available online to be able to grow your physical store as well. Any more questions? More questions, more questions. Or if you are here and you have like some inputs, something that can help all of us, it'll be great to hear from you as well. If you want to share something, if you have an experience um, doing business online, or you had a challenge doing business online or setting up something, anything at all, let's discuss. So if you have a question or a suggestion or something, just wave in the call, and then wave in the call, and then they'll give you'll be granted access to ask your question, and then I'll answer. No questions?
Hello, Bennett.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi. Thanks for the presentation. I wanted you to give us a bit more tips on how to identify a transaction that is likely to be fraudulent. So, for example, what do you look out for when ordering things online? Aside looking out for brand names like Jumia, what if I find something that it's being sold online? What do I look out for to determine that I can go ahead and purchase and this person is likely to be genuine?
Yeah, wonderful. I like the question. So it's difficult in this day and age because we're encouraging everybody to do business online. So it's difficult to really identify that this person is genuine, this person is not. But there are a few pointers. Now, for instance, if somebody sent you a message and says that, okay, so this is Jumia, pay so and so amount. Like you try to order an item on. Forgive me for using Jumia repeatedly, but maybe you try to order for an item on Jumia, let's say a shoe on Jumia, and then after ordering, um, you received a message to say that, okay, you can now pay for your item via so and so means, right? How do you verify to know whether it's genuine? You can only verify if you deal with, as you mentioned yourself, official brands. So on the Jumia website that you know is the genuine only website that Jumia has, you go on there and you make your purchase, and then the email is sent to your email. You see that this is from Jumia, and then you act accordingly. Now, if anybody calls you with a phone or to say that, okay, you've ordered for an item, you should pay for it, send it to my mobile money, please verify and make sure that if it's a normal, like if it's a small shop, let's say I have my own shop, right, on Instagram, I'm selling a shoe, and the name of the shop is Bennet Shoe, and you come and I say send it to my Momo, and you check the name. And fortunately for us these days, MTN has made it such that all of these things are biometric, and we have our ID cards on there and our full names on. Although people register fake accounts, it's like a small percentage of it. So verify the the name that you are sending the money, or the accounts that you are sending the money to. And most e-commerce platforms these days also offer pay on delivery, right? So always insist, unless the item is an item that you really need and the platform you believe is genuine, do not ever pay online. Also, if anybody asks you to provide, for instance, most people have ATM and credit debit cards these days. If anybody asks you to provide the the card information, like apart from your name and the expiry date, do not ever give anybody access to the numbers on the front of your card, the numbers at the pin at the back of your card. Do not give access to anybody. No company asks you for all of it. Genuine companies who have these payment portals, they would ask you to give them maybe first six numbers, and then the moment you put that number there, it's already connected to either MasterCard or Visa. It generates it automatically, and then you put in your CVV and you are done. But do not mention or send your CVV via like a text, or somebody calls you and say, oh, what's your card number, what's your CV, I'm calling from Jumia. No, you need to verify and make sure it's genuine. That's why, as much as possible, I encourage that when you order for an item, online, if you cannot trust or you have doubts and your gut is telling you that this company is not genuine, do not pay beforehand. Let them bring the item, see the person you are doing the business with, and then you can pay. Even if it's mobile money, when the person gets in front of you, you can pay. Because these days, a lot of brands are doing it. Maybe you order for a box of Adidas from a shop. When the item comes to you and the rider is right in front of you, then you can pay via mobile money to whoever sends the item. So it's more of your intuition and your gut and safeguarding yourself, because these online companies may have platforms that will prevent hacking, but it's up to the end user, the customer, to protect themselves as well. You also have a responsibility because it's your money that's going to go in the first place. So if somebody comes to you using the name Jumia or using the name Adidas, the money has gone out of your wallet. It's not the company is not mandated to pay you back the money. You may have lost the money, but if you do your due diligence and make sure that you are dealing with official brands and you are paying to the right partners or the right numbers or the right accounts, then you are safe to go. Okay, so I see a question from Phyllis Opoku Amwa here, which says that what process will one have to follow in order to sell through e-commerce? Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, two ways. Either you set up your own platform, which is very costly. So I usually advise that already existing companies, industries or enterprises, the big ones, they can venture into it by building their own website and integrating with their social media platforms where they do their selling, right? So a website is a form of e-commerce platform. An app is a form of e-commerce platform. Social media is a form of e-commerce. So if you have an already established entity like a big company and you are not already utilizing on online services, e-commerce, maybe you already have a website but it's not as effective. People are not buying and selling. Your website is just informative. Then you can transform that website into an informative one, yes, but a platform where people can buy and sell on there as well. Now, on the other hand, if you do not have the capital to go into it, if you're a small, medium scale enterprise or a startup, what I encourage you to do is to go contact e-commerce platforms such as Jumia, if you're in Ghana, Jumia, Tonaton, Zuba Shop, all of these ones. Do your research. Which one, as I mentioned earlier on, which one is geared towards the needs that you have, right? If you identify that, then it's simple. You contact them and you say, okay, I want to sell on your platform. Every company has its own requirements, but the basic requirements are data, your personal information, your business information, um, content. So the stuff that you're putting on there, they will do quality checks. They will ensure that whatever you're putting on there is genuine. They will ensure that they know your business address, how they can get the item from you when somebody orders, and information flow between you and them is easy. So everyone has his own module and how they operate. So if you want to sell through e-commerce, either you are setting up your own platform or you are contacting any of these e-commerce platforms for them to set you up. Okay, so Sarah Tete says that what is your advice on how to know you are buying quality products? That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. Now, first of all, quality products are on the market, and a lot of people have mixed it up with I don't like to use the term fake, but inferior products, right? So you might see a Samsung side by side another Samsung, but the quality of this one is high above this one. If you want to know if you are buying quality, buy from reputable brands, buy from reputable shops, buy from reputable online businesses. Now, another good way of knowing that what you are buying is genuine is by comparing prices. So a lot of times we see people saying that, and I bought an item, and the item came and it's not what I asked for. You didn't do your homework well. If you're buying a 60-inch television, compare. Okay, I've seen 60-inch on Jumia. It's a Samsung. It's on Jumia. Jumia says the 60-inch is going for 5,000 Ghana cedis. What are other shops saying? Samsung official store, how much are they selling it? If the difference is too big, then you might as well ask questions before you buy. If the difference is not that big, it might be that the e-commerce platform is running a discount promo or something. So then, just like the payment issue, we need to do our own checks as individuals. But how to know whether an item is genuine or not is solely reliant on dealing with the good brands and also referral. Sorry. So for instance, I bought an item on Jumia, and the item is a double decker fridge from Nasco, and it works well for me, and I've used it for the past 4 years, right? And you also want to buy a fridge, and you know I've bought on Jumia before. You need to ask, oh, you bought on Jumia, the item that came, did you like it? If you didn't like it, why didn't you like it? Did you inform the company about it? Was it replaced? Because sometimes on e-commerce platforms, these issues do happen. You might get a vendor that has an item that displays it, although their quality checks and all of that, the delivery didn't go too well. So you should know about how the e-commerce company returns, their return policy, if the refunds are done, and all of those things. These are quick ways in knowing whether you're ordering from a genuine source, whether your product is quality, and whether you can get a refund or a replacement when you order for the item. Okay, so Solomon Arthur says that thank you for your presentation. What is the difference between e-commerce and a virtual store? Okay, so a virtual store is basically having they are more or less the same thing, but there's a simple difference. A virtual store is, for instance, you have 30 shoes that you want to sell, right? It's a store. You are placing it on your store for people to see and come and buy, right? E-commerce works in the same way, only that e-commerce allows you to explore several avenues. So with a virtual store, it's just one. This is your store. This is Coffee Menu store. It's just one place, right? So if I want to compare, I'm comparing everything only Coffee Menu has. That is a virtual store. Now e-commerce is shopping online. It's widespread. So e-commerce allows me to go to Coffee Menu store, to go to Amabenua store, to go to Yamansa store, to go to this person's store and compare all the things they are selling and make an informed choice. So e-commerce gives you options, e-commerce gives you variety, e-commerce gives you choice, e-commerce gives you flexibility. E-commerce allows you to connect with several other buyers and sellers, different buyers and sellers. Whereas a virtual store is specific to only one space. Okay, so I think let's have the final question and we can wrap up because we've done past the 1 hour. Let me do the last question and then I can wrap up. Last question. Let's do the very last question and then we can wrap up. Anybody? Okay, anybody? All right. So in the absence of any further questions, before I go, let me just say that e-commerce is the future based on the recent happenings, based on the pandemic that we have on our hands right now. It's good to leverage on e-commerce. So I entreat all enterprises and businesses that are already existing to hop on the e-commerce wagon. Let's go together because many companies have websites, but they are not necessarily doing business online. Their websites are informative. So you go on the website and you see about what we do, what we offer. Yes, it's informative, but can your customers buy and sell on your platform? Or are you listed on other websites or other platforms where customers can buy and sell your products and services? This is one question that big companies should ask themselves. If you are one company that has a website and is only for information, then it's about time you started looking at engaging your customers through that platform. It's about time you considered buying and selling on that platform. It's about time you considered actually engaging your customers to do good business on that platform. If you are listed on another platform as well, it's about time you ask yourself questions. Am I making good use of it? Am I meeting new customers? Am I leveraging on my old customers? Am I getting the best out of it? If not, then you should sit down and do proper research, do a self-introspection, consider talking to industry experts, consider contacting e-commerce platforms or people who have already done it, get ideas from people, research, and then know your needs and then work So what, ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to Innovare for this platform. A big thank you to Jumia as well. My name is Bennet Otoo, PR and Communications Manager at Jumia Ghana. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Bennet Otoo. You can also reach me on Facebook, Bennet Otoo as well, and on any other platform, Twitter, Instagram, Bennet Otoo. You can email me at bennet.otoo@jumia.com. And then you can contact Innovare for all my other contact details. If you need a copy of the presentation as well, I can email to you. Just send me a mail and then I'll reply to you with the presentation. If you need a bit more insights on e-commerce and doing business online and how to leverage social media opportunities and all of that as well, you can contact Innovare or you can contact me, and then we'll get it sorted. So thank you for your audience. Thank you for listening and thank you for joining in. Hopefully there'll be more sessions where I can be helpful and I can be impactful to you. Thank you and God bless you. Have a nice day.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in this afternoon, and do please join us again. You can also watch this video again on our YouTube channel, Innovare GH, Innovare GH, or visit our website and check out our numerous webinars that we've done on the Adesa section. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you again. Have a great afternoon.